Hello, my name is Dr. Chell, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my roadmap to vibrant health. So this is a big picture view of the things that are most essential for optimal health, in my opinion. I'm going to do some more specific videos and do a deeper dive on some of these individual topics, but right now we're just taking a big picture view. So we'll start out with what I believe to be the most important, which is your belief. So your belief that I am designed to thrive and your belief that my body can heal. So if you just think about it logically, any animal in their natural environment is designed to thrive. So if you think about a lion on the plains of Africa living in its natural environment and also eating a natural diet, of course it's going to be healthy. You don't just see lions who have diabetes. Unfortunately, with humans, we're so disconnected from our environment that it's become very common for us to be sick. We have record rates of many chronic diseases, and that's just become normalized, but that's not really normal. So if we are living a proper lifestyle, we should be healthy. We are designed to thrive, designed to be healthy and happy. So that is the baseline belief that we need to have, that we can be healthy and we're designed this way. The other belief we need to have is that your body can heal. So a lot of people get caught in this mindset, especially when they have been labeled with some sort of disease. They get attached. It becomes part of their identity that they're sick, and they have a really tough time, believing that they can fix that problem. And a lot of it is just due to the mindset of our current medical system. A lot of things are just seen as incurable. You can't fix this. It's genetic. Whatever the excuse is. But I do not believe that to be true. I believe our bodies always have the capacity to heal. But if you don't believe it, you're probably not going to achieve that as your reality. So it's very important to have a proper mindset going into whatever healing journey you're on. And if you want to achieve optimal health, I do believe you really have to believe that through and through. Next up, so we're going to talk about how to nourish your temple. So these are some of the practices that help with our physical body. So of course, nutrition. We know nutrition is very important. There's a lot of confusion. There's so many different diets these days, and I understand why people are confused. But really, if you want to distill it down to a couple basic concepts, the most important thing I think is for people to focus on high quality food. So sourcing out the highest quality food available. This isn't easy because even in, most people probably shop at the grocery store. Even at the grocery store, it's very difficult to find, truly high quality food. So I encourage people to get to know, your local farmers. Learn to grow your own food. Maybe get into hunting or foraging or fishing. That's going to be the best way to, secure high quality food. And, just to kind of define that, obviously there isn't one objective definition, but if we're eating plant foods, for example, we want to be finding foods that are grown in their natural environment in soil that is rich in nutrients, because that's where the plants are going to get their nutrients from. So if we want to get all those vitamins, minerals, the enzymes, the microbes, the beneficial probiotics, we need to be making sure the food comes from healthy soil. So that's the primary thing. And then of course, animals that are eating those plants, they need to be eating high quality food. They need to be eating a species appropriate diet. So that's one part, making sure that it's grown in nutrient-rich soils, but then also the food should be absent of different contaminants and toxins. So most commercial farming uses, absurd amounts of pesticides, things like glyphosate, different rodenticides, herbicides, and those have a negative impact on our body. So we want to make sure that we are trying to avoid the contaminants, so maximizing the nutritional quality, also avoiding the toxicity as much as possible. So, organically grown. The title organic doesn't mean much anymore, but foods that are organically grown are going to be most beneficial for us. Also, I am a strong believer that we all have to find our own unique diet. So there is no one size diet fits all, and not everyone should be on a carnivore diet or a vegan or a keto, whatever. It really depends on the person. There's many individual factors such as our genetics, the state of your microbiome, what are your stress levels, where do you live, all those types of things, even your beliefs around what diet may be best. So we need to explore, and also this can change throughout time. So when I was an infant, the best diet for me was breast milk. Now I don't drink any of that, obviously. So throughout different times of our life, we have dramatically different nutritional requirements throughout the lifespan, and things can change depending on what's going on. So we need to be adaptable. We need to learn what feels good for our body and be more intuitive. So those are two, very important core principles: focusing on highest quality food possible, finding your unique diet, and I'll explain more in future videos. Hydration is also extremely important. It goes hand in hand with nutrition. So drinking clean water is probably the most important thing. Municipal tap water has a lot of issues. There's a lot of toxicity. These aren't things that are necessarily going to kill you from an acute exposure, but over time, the chronic accumulation of certain metals or pesticides or fluorides can cause or contribute to chronic disease, I should say. So we want to make sure that we're drinking clean water. You can get a filtration system. That's probably the most practical thing for most people. Also, you can source spring water if there's a spring local to you. You can also buy spring water. Lots of different options there, but you just want to make sure that the water is clean and free of contaminants. That's going to be the most important thing. The other thing to focus on is to electrolyze your body. So I'm not sure if electrolyze is a real word or not, but I'm going to use it. So making sure that your body has the essential minerals it needs. So hydration isn't just about the amount of liquid you put in your body, it's also the minerals that are going to help to maintain that fluid, but also to give your body that charge. So they're called electrolytes because those specific minerals can conduct electricity when they're in water. So our bodies also run off of the principle of electricity. We have many different electrical components of our body. So we want to have the minerals and also the water, and those work in tandem to create true cellular hydration. Sleep is also essential. So that's when we're going to recover and repair at night. Just as a general rule, I'd say most people need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. Some people can get away with less, some people may need more, but generally that's what you want to be aiming for. And when I say quality, that means you should be falling asleep, minimal waking during the night, and then feeling refreshed in the morning. That's a good sign that you have good quality sleep. And probably the most practical way to do this is to respect your circadian rhythm. So that's a big topic, but basically your circadian rhythm is your 24-hour sleep-wake cycle that is controlling your daytime activities, but also your nighttime activities, aka sleep. So making sure that you're going to bed when it's dark outside, and that's going to help to maximize your melatonin release. Waking up with the sun, and that will cue your circadian rhythm. Making sure you're sleeping in a dark, cool environment. Making sure you're breathing properly, so you don't want to be breathing in and out through your mouth or snoring or having different types of sleep apnea or similar issues at night. So yes, but you need to make sure that you're sleeping because that's when your body does all of the recovery and regeneration. Lastly is movement. So you don't necessarily need to be doing super high intensity exercise. I know that's kind of trendy right now in our world. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you just need to make sure that you're moving your body. So walk, walk, walk. That is the foundation of the movement pyramid. You should be walking as much as possible. That's what our ancestors did. If you look at centenarians and people who have good longevity, they're not necessarily doing super high intensity activity, but they're just consistently moving, and that's going to help with cardiovascular function, muscular function, also draining your lymphatic system. Taking care of your fascia. So, it doesn't have to be overly complicated. I do also think there's a lot of benefit to having some sort of strength training. Again, it doesn't have to be bodybuilding or super high intensity stuff, but just making sure that you're challenging your muscles in some capacity. So again, looking back, to more ancestral times or, even not that long ago, 50 to 100 years ago, we would have to be outside, maybe, carrying heavier objects, carrying some water, chopping wood, getting in different positions when we're gardening or whatever it is. So this general movement, some baseline level of cardiovascular function, some baseline level of strength, and I'd say also mobility is quite important there. So just make sure that you're moving. But all of those things are going to be some of the core practices to nourish your temple. So you're feeding your body the proper foods, as well as good hydration habits, sleeping so you can recover, and then also moving your body. Next up, we have connection to nature, which I've divided into the 4 elements. Some would argue there is a 5th element of ether, but we're going to stick with fire, earth, air, and water. So fire, the fire element is our sun. There's a lot of misinformation about the sun. The sun is the primary source of life on our planet. Without it, we would all die. So plants, animals, nothing would be able to survive. So something kind of contradictory about, that side of the equation, that it's essential for life, but then also is, apparently killing us and giving us all these health issues. So I would encourage you to look into, the truth about sun exposure. I believe it's one of the most beneficial things for health overall. The sun provides a unique spectrum of all these different wavelengths of light that are constantly giving our body different signals for optimal physiological function. So we have this red and infrared light, which is very helpful for energy production, helps to power our mitochondria. You have UV light, which helps to create different neurotransmitters and also promote the synthesis of something like vitamin D. And many other things. Blue light helps to control your circadian rhythm. So we don't want to be in this artificially lit environment using artificial lights when we could be outside harnessing that full spectrum sunlight, which is, and crucially beneficial for our biology. So obviously use your common sense. You could get into issues if you're constantly burning and spending way too much time outdoors. But generally, if you're just smart and intuitive with your sun exposure, you're not going to run into problems. So the sun, most people tell me it feels good. They like to be outside in the sun, but it gets to a certain point where you feel uncomfortable. It's too hot. You feel like you're starting to burn. Then you seek shade or go inside. It's not rocket science. So get as much sun as you can without burning, and that's going to be super helpful to harness that fire element of nature. Earth. So many different ways to interact with the earth, but one of the simplest ones would be just grounding daily. So barefoot on the earth as long as you can, right? I know it sounds kind of like hippy-dippy pseudoscience, but there's actually a lot of research supporting the benefits of earthing or grounding. So the earth is very rich in electrons. Those get transmit through the bottom of our feet into our bodies, and electrons help to power our energy production. They also help to quell inflammation, and there's plenty of benefits. There's also the Schumann resonance, which is the electromagnetic frequency that is constantly being emitted from the earth, and we can tap into that when we're standing barefoot. And if you think about it again, every animal is always grounded 24/7, except for birds. But when they're on trees or when they're on the ground, they're going to be getting that benefit. But no other animal wears shoes. They're always connected to the earth, and humans for the longest time have been connected as well. And even when they developed shoes, initially they were made of natural materials that still conducted that electrical flow. So rubber-soled shoes, not great. Not saying you can't wear them ever, but you need to spend some time outdoors barefoot. Next one is air. So fresh air. Obviously, we don't always have control over this, depending on where you live. But doing your best to get into natural environments, breathing that fresh air, and then also, regardless of the environment you're in, learning how to breathe properly is super important. So some of the basics for proper breath are nasal breathing. So when you breathe in and out through your nose, you're helping to expand your diaphragm. You're getting better oxygen exchange. Also, you're warming and filtering the air more effectively with your nose. So you primarily want to be nose breathing. And then also to breathe slowly and deeply. So when you slow down your breath, you're helping to activate the parasympathetic or relaxed state of your nervous system. When you're breathing in and out through your mouth, like, picture yourself doing a high intensity exercise and you're just, sucking air and hyperventilating, that gives your body that stressed out feeling. So you want to be in and out through the nose, slowing down your breath, helping to activate your relaxation side of your nervous system. And there's plenty of benefits that I could go on about there. And that's why it's also very important to be doing that when you're sleeping at night. So you may want to look into, mouth taping if you're a mouth breather or snorer at night. And lastly, which we've already discussed a little bit about water, but the last element would be water. So drinking high quality water, but also bathing in natural waters. So forever, humans have been bathing in streams or rivers, lakes or natural springs, and those have profound healing benefits. And even if you don't have access to that, you can make your own therapeutic bath with Epsom salts or baking soda or sea salt, those types of things. Even just getting a shower filter, that type of thing, and embracing the healing power of water. So without sun, we don't have life. Without water, we don't have life. Without any of these things, we don't have life. So we want to embrace all of these natural elements and find a connection to nature, because that's where we have evolved, and that's where we're designed to be. Lastly is finding your purpose. So it's really important to find your tribe, find your community. You want to be surrounded by like-minded people, and you want to surround yourself with inspiring people. So people who lift you up, people who are positive, who show you love, who you can love, and that goes a very long way. So spend some time with people that make you feel happy. It's as simple as that. The other thing is making sure that you find time in your day to do what you love. Ideally, you should be spending your entire day doing what you love, but obviously that's not the reality for most of us. So, taking steps to work towards that as much as you can. You want to wake up excited every day. You want to be jumping out of bed because, you're just doing whatever you love to do, right? You don't want to be going to a job that you hate or, dreading getting up in the morning. If you don't wake up excited every day and you're miserable, honestly, none of this stuff really matters that much. So it is really important to figure out, okay, what do I want to do with my life? What am I here to do? What makes me happy? And even if, you can't achieve that right away, work towards it in small steps. Even if you hate your job and most of your life is miserable, you can still find a 15, 20-minute period every day, I'm sure, to do something that you love, whether that's dancing or singing or maybe playing music, listening to music, art, talking to a friend, whatever it is, and try to do more and more of that each day until you've created the life that you want. And lastly is connecting. So we all have different, spiritual or religious beliefs. You don't necessarily need to, go down any one religious path or whatever it is, but I do believe it's important to connect to something greater than ourselves. So connecting, however we want to describe it. So connecting to your soul, connecting to God, connecting to spirit, to the universe, maybe just connecting to your highest self or connecting to your inner peace, whatever resonates with you. But I think it's very important to find ways to have that connection so that we feel grounded and we feel at peace and we enjoy our existence here. So yes, finding a purpose, very important. We don't want to just pigeonhole into like only physical practices or only mental, spiritual practices. Health is a holistic thing. So we need to make sure we're taking care of our mental body, our physical body, our spiritual body, all of those things. So thank you for listening. You can check me out at Nature Academy, natureacademy.com. There's blue blocking glasses there, which are very supportive for your circadian rhythm. You can also check out some of my new botanical creations. And if you're interested in working with a naturopath, you can go to lakesidенaturopathic.com and you can book a 15-minute discovery call with me to see if we're a good fit to work with each other. But I hope you enjoy this and we'll see you soon. Bye.